welcome to episode 14 of the Sports Card Talk Show. I'm Kevin, this is Lauren.
Hey everybody, today we are interviewing Greg from GK 45x5. Looking forward to talking to this dude. Ready to give him a call, man?
Yeah, man, let's get it going. Let's give him a call.
All right.
All right, Greg, welcome into the Sports Card Talk Show. Glad to have you on the show today.
Hey, Greg.
Hey, Kevin and Lauren. Hey, thank you for allowing me to come in and talk with you guys about collecting in the hobby, man. You know, we're excited and appreciative of the invitation, and we're glad to be here. Thank you.
Oh, we're glad to have you, man.
Yeah,
we're glad to have you.
For sure.
Go ahead.
I guess we've been chatting back and forth on the Instagram. I guess what caught my eye. You first caught my eye on probably a Soul Brothers Cards comment, and then I started taking notice of your JK 45x5 tag, and then started noticing you were commenting on our deal, and it's like, wow, this guy's really active on Instagram, and that's awesome. First question I guess I got for you, what does JK 45x5 mean?
So GK 45.
I mean G, not J.
It's basically kind of a brand, you know, like my initials, and when I was in the military, you know, that was kind of the nickname I had was GK.
Oh, okay.
And when I retired from the military, you know, I was 45 years old, and at that same time, my son, he was 5.
Oh.
So it was kind of like, hey, I wanna create a brand, you know, so I have something to do. Now, I didn't know what the heck I was doing, but I wanted to do that, and I figured, you know, there's a lot of power in utilizing both of us at the same time. So I'm 45, he's 5. We're getting ready to move on to this next step of our life, and that's where it came from. So we took that and went all across social with that GK 45x5.
That's awesome.
It's easily identifiable. It's, you know, quick to say. If you see it in one place and you see it in another place, undoubtedly it's the same entity, it's the same people.
Yep.
You know, and that's kind of really where we were coming from with that.
Okay, now you just said you retired from the military at 45 years old?
I did.
And you served, so did you serve from, how long did you serve?
Well, I enlisted in the Marine Corps back in 1990. And,
oh, wow.
I did my 4 years as an infantryman there, and it was a great experience. You know, got to, you know, take, you know, a few overseas deployments and stuff. And then I was out, and I stayed out for about 7 years, and I didn't cut my hair, and you know, I just lived like a wild man, kind of. You know, kind of as an infantryman, you don't leave with transferable skills, and I learned how to make money with my hands, you know, and then about 7 years later, I enlisted in the Kansas Army National Guard. I really missed the structure and the way that I work. You know, I needed the structure. And so I enlisted in the Kansas Army National Guard, and I was able to finish my career there as a company first sergeant in 2016. So I was blessed to be able to have that opportunity to, number one, do the 20 years. Number two, you know, live through some war trips with the guys I went with. And then number three, just have a rewarding experience of growth and development.
My dad served in the military, but me and Kevin didn't.
No, so thank you for your service.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate your service.
Well, you know, thank you. You know, that's always humbling, and I always appreciate that deeply, because it was truly a privilege and an honor to be able to serve, you know, not just you guys, but everybody out there as well.
Awesome.
Well, I absolutely appreciate, because I'm a coward, so I can't even imagine doing that.
Right? You know, I mean, so don't ever look in the mirror and tell yourself that again, man. Because I mean, we're one and the same. We really are.
Right, but I mean, it takes men like you to protect men like me. So.
Well, you know, and you know, there's something to that too, you know, and that was one of the things that as we grew older and moved up in the ranks, we really had to do a self-assessment and evaluate how important that was to us, you know. You know, we don't want everybody to have to do that stuff.
Right,
so
right.
If we put ourselves on the line, so no one else, you know, other people don't have to, that's a very rewarding mindset to have, because man, it's not easy.
No, I know. That's why I appreciate what military does so much. And yeah, you wouldn't want me in the foxhole with you.
Well, cool, man. Let's go into this collecting a little bit.
Okay.
I know. I think you had mentioned that you had collected years back, and maybe are circling back to it a little bit. Like I think a lot of people are.
Yeah.
So what made you decide to come back to?
I'm one of the many that was in, out,
Yes, yes.
that kind of thing. And this time around, really, it was my son was integral in that. He got into Pokemon, and as we're at Walmart, and he's wanting to buy packs. I'm like, there's no way I'm buying him packs, and I'm not ripping.
Right.
And so then I bought a couple packs, and then he's got an uncle that lives here in the same town, and we got to talking to him. Come to find out, he also was a collector back in the day. Now he's a few years younger than I am, but we had kind of the same experiences. And then we watched a Bruce Stu video about Pokemon cards, and if you get a chance, watch it. We watched that all together, and then within a week, both of us had reopened our eBay stores. And about another week after that, Gary said to me, he goes, "Man, I forgot how much fun collecting cards was." And I agreed with him. And the thing that I took this time around was, once I got back into the hobby, and I really didn't know anything about social media at the time, but I seen that there was a tremendous room for personal and professional growth. And I wanted to get in on that. I was at a critical time in my life with a lot of outside things happening that I just said, we're gonna put the junk on the table, and we're gonna go for it, and get in with both feet. I had a collection that, I've been collecting since the mid '70s, probably when I was 3 or 4 years old. With this card right here, this '72 Nehemiah Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of my brother's cards that I found in the couch when I was a little boy. and like I was maybe 3 or 4, and I've got it today at 48. And as I was moving from Kansas to Arkansas, I had a couple storage units full of stuff, and I said, hey, one of the things that struck me, the one constant I've had has been those football cards. Whether through the war trips, through the births, through the marriages, through the divorce, through the everything. And I'm like, none of this crap really means anything, but why did I hang on to this? And I had kind of always had a dream and a goal to get into cards full time. And so I just said, man, we've got a chance right now. Let's just, grab the rope with both hands and swing until it knocks us off, basically.
Awesome, man. Like you said, you're across all the platforms. Like, how long have you been like on the platforms? Like Lauren and I messed with Instagram personally about a year ago. Yeah. Stepped away, and like the last month or month and a half, we're like, we kind of said the same thing. Let's just do something with it. We're kind of on the same page, but I don't know. Like, how long have you been on the social platforms, I guess?
Back in April, I was working full time. We were traveling around doing public safety and awareness events across the country, and the kid I was traveling with kind of talked about it, and we were talking about card collecting. He's a big sports fan, but he had never bought or collected cards, and he told me what was going on YouTube, and then I started watching, and I thought I might be able to do that, and I took a retail mega box or retail blaster or something like that, and I did it, and it had been years since I'd ripped packs, and I had so much fun ripping them on camera.
Your first video is actually, I think, 2019 Prism Draft. I watched your first video.
Oh, well,
I always like to watch the first video and your last video to kind of see, how good or bad you were at the beginning to how good or bad you are for.
Good thinking there, man.
Well, it's nice to watch the evolution of people putting themselves out there and go. Because me and Kevin were like, we shot our first video, and it's like, oh man, dude, we made it through it. I wonder how bad that was. So it's like nice to see, because you watch some of the videos and you're like going, oh my goodness, these guys are like pros, and you like want to see how bad they were to start with. So.
Well, yeah, and that's a key point to collecting in the modern times, I think, is, we thought about it like, as we grow, people will be able to look back and they'll see that growth and development. Now, when I say my 48-year-old collection or whatever, that all it was just a bunch of junk wax, and I mean, so you're going to see the development in not just in the content and the delivery, but the development and the building up of cards. Because I seen right away, I was like, man, these cards nowadays are so much more advanced, and I want some of that. And how do I turn this into that? And that's where I wanted to go. And what I've learned through other members of the community being so supportive and sharing is that this method right now is a great way to guarantee and ensure like customer transparency and customer satisfaction. They see the products that you're pulling. They hear the opinions. They're able to figure it out for themselves by comparison between what we've got going on and what somebody else might have going on, and they're able to make a better decision. I think it's better for the hobby overall.
Yeah. As I noticed that was a big thing, like the transparency stuff and stuff that you're talking about on some of your videos with the plain white envelope versus the bubble mailer. It's kind of a customer preference thing, but you're putting it out there. Like, I made a comment that I prefer bubble mailer, but I've got plain white envelope, and
Yeah, I don't know which is right. A lot of times,
I think both.
Yeah, I mean, there's no right answer. It's just trying to figure out what works. What works for each individual, because there's a lot of times where if you're in the game of selling or reselling, flipping cards, you can lose sales. If we're inflexible, somebody's going to go elsewhere. There's more than enough places to find a good card.
Well,
Enough places to find a good deal.
Yeah.
Several years ago, I cannot remember what it was. It might have been some actually Refrigerator Perry rookie cards. And they were like a year before I really started collecting football cards back in the 80s. And I bought like 5 of them from a dude. And he had $3 shipping on it. This was like 20 years ago maybe. And he had them all shoved in one penny sleeve and shipped them out to me in a plain white envelope. I was that's like one of the very, very few times I left negative feedback on eBay. And he told me, actually, I think I left neutral because I didn't want to leave negative.
Yeah.
And he said neutral is negative. And he gave me, and this is back when sellers could actually leave negative feedback. So he left me in negative feedback. I'm like, what the heck, dude? I left you in neutral. But yeah, now I don't mind getting plain whites, because normally the people I've never had a bad experience with plain whites because they always put it in a top loader. You're usually buying a card for just a couple bucks with like either 0 shipping or 99 cent. You can't expect a bubble mailer for
Free
when you're getting free shipping or 99-cent shipping.
You really can't. One of the things that we're kind of working through is how to be able to deliver that experience at that 99-cent price point. It's a work in progress, and we'll see how it goes. We're not gonna nail ourselves down and get married to one type of method of delivery. The big thing is how can we best serve you, and how can we provide the best experience for you in the hobby. That's really what we're going for.
Are you on Facebook too then?
I am now. I did the whole Instagram link to Facebook thing, but it all keyed off my name, right? So I'm there, Greg Kittle. You can find me. It's either personal page or the 45 by 5 page.
Okay.
And then Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, everything's GK45x5, 45 by 5.
Sure, awesome. One of the things that I really I was drawn to you, because I think that's kind of how Lauren and I want to go about things, is the positivity, but also supporting other people in the community. Like I noticed you're rocking the hat you're rocking, and I love that video that you had on there, and we talked about it for a minute. And I think it's awesome that you go out of your way to make sure that you're supporting others and propping them up. I think it's even in your little profile thing, pack poles and propping up others, and I love that about that.
Yeah, thanks for noticing that. That was another thing that we saw that was instrumental. And in our experience in the military, just the study of self-development and leadership over years. You get more flies with honey than you do vinegar.
Right.
But it's also integral, to be able to acknowledge others, because as you guys know, it takes a lot of effort to do this. And even if you're only just focused on one platform, there's still a lot of effort and energy that goes into that. And, there's so many online communities that they don't really, like I played Madden for a lot. I'm a Madden junkie. But I quit playing Madden specifically because that online community just felt so toxic, and I didn't like it.
Oh, yeah.
So I looked at cards as a way to, just be positive and spread that message and give those people props when they're not getting told thank you or good job, and just bring that to it. I had a bad experience at a LCS when I was a little kid, and it stuck with me. And part of what drives us today is that memory. We don't ever want to recreate that for anybody.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, I noticed it on your website too. It just kind of everything about it. I was like, oh, this is going to be cool to get to know you and build up on this relationship. I'm looking forward to it.
For sure, man. That's and I'm super thankful that you guys reached out to me. And it's I'm looking forward to it as well because I dig your content. I think we're all on the same we're all in the same age group to where, we know about the past, and we lived through, the junkwax and the bottom falling out of the market and blah, blah, blah,
Right.
We
Honestly thought baseball cards were dead at a certain point, right?
Yeah.
Yep, same here.
We were told when we were kids, well, hang on to that. It might be worth something someday. Well, the beautiful thing about today is whatever card you have in your hand or in your closet, whatever you've got right now is worth something right now. There's a buyer, and through social media, you can set a value on that. You don't have to buy and sell or do any of that. You can just use it to just create content and deliver.
Yep.
There's so many people on Instagram that they're just showing pictures of their collection, and it's amazing. It's almost hard to not get intimidated at times.
Oh, yeah.
These guys have amazing stuff.
Yeah. I think I have a cool collection, and then I get into some of these guys that got the Logo Man NBA the Logo Man patches, and I'm like going, and you're just scrolling, and they got like so many of these one-of-one patches, and you're just like going, oh my goodness, my collection sucks.
You and me both, brother. And I think that as a new collector, because I talked a lot to people that are coming back into the hobby, or they've either had an extended break or they're just brand new to it, and that intimidation factor is there. It's real. The other thing too, man, it requires a lot of capital. All those beautiful triple color RPAs, man, they come with a price tag, and a lot of times it's not cheap, man.
No, and that's just it too. Whenever I got back into collecting 3-4 years ago, I went right back to where I started, and I wanted to buy some of the cards that I couldn't afford when I was a kid. Yeah. And I did that, and then I'm like, wait a minute, I'm a Viking fan, and that's what I want to do. And you just start trying to buy as many cheap cards as you can because there's 30 years of a gap that you need to fill in of guys that you liked. And yeah, I think that people just need to slow down, take a look at it a little bit, study it a little bit before you dive, face first into it. Because you can learn. You should take in content like what you're providing to kind of figure out how to do it. Because you can throw away a lot of money without knowing what you're doing, for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean, we were fortunate at that time. Back in April when we decided to get into this, we had a considerable amount of capital at our disposal. And we didn't take the time. We didn't do our due diligence. We just jumped in, head first, both feet, cold water off the high dive, man. And looking back, it would have been more beneficial to use a different approach, But hopefully we can emphasize that and restate that to anyone that consumes our content to find out that, hey, we want to share with you what didn't work with us, so you don't make the same mistakes.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah, I've caught some of those little the advice that you give. For instance, I watch you just simple things like repackaging, and you opened up and you had a team bag. You're like, we save those because we can use those to send out. And I've got a whole box of those team bags. I got the boxes of the what are those white, the filler card.
Yeah.
I keep those. I even keep the ones that people cut out of cardboard, so I don't have to cut them out of cardboard, you know? That stuff all will go a long way. I mean, time is money too, and if you're not cutting up cardboard, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's exactly right. You know, I mean, you can't be too proud to reuse some of that stuff, especially if you're trying to save a few bucks, because a lot of guys and gals are in that position, like, hey, I want to get in the game, but I don't have the capital to get into the game. Well, so you have to be creative.
Well, a few bucks is the difference between you making money and not making money on a card, you know.
It is, especially if you're dealing with, you know, like a lot of what we have. They might be cool looking cards. They might have been great cards to us emotionally, but you know, the fact of the matter is, it's a 25-cent thing at best, and you have to be able to maximize the efficiency there to allow a buyer to be able to close on that. You know, through this process, we were also able to, you know, kind of, you know, we got incorporated. You know, I don't know whether it was the right thing or the wrong thing, but you know, we had the audacity to incorporate a junkwax collection. And so the process of going through the filing fee and this, that, and the other, because we knew, hey, if we go through these steps, that eventually we'll be in a position to where, you know, I was really looking at, Len, how am I going to finance my kids' Pokemon addiction? The best way to do that is to get in position to be able to buy wholesale. And if we get in position to buy wholesale, what can that do for us overall? You know, and so we incorporated, and just like, you know, we got that Nehemiah Wilson, you know, a lot of people put that dollar bill for their first thing in business. This is what sits in our business license right there.
Oh yeah, awesome.
I mean, that was a huge thing. So, you know, we were looking at cards as a way to grow. You know, we're not here to like sell you something, make a few bucks, and then be gone tomorrow. You know, it's like literally, hey man, we've been in this damn near our whole life. And we just want to share, you know, with other people and help them to get to where they want to go as well.
Me and Kevin worked for the same boss for a while, and he told us we worked in the restaurant business, and he said these people already showed up, they're ready to eat. You already made that sale. What you're trying to do is you're trying to sell them on them coming back to the restaurant for the next sale. And he was all about basically in the front of the house with. That's what they call the dining room in a restaurant, is the front of the house. You're putting on a show for the customers, and he was always about that, and that's exactly what you're talking about, is customer service driving, being a big driving force in what you're trying to do.
Yeah, and you know, we really didn't realize that. You know, coming from the military background, it was just service. You know, and one of the things we learned in leadership was just, you know, we don't lead people so they can do for us. You know, when you really get to the essence and the core of it, you know, you're serving those people, and the higher up you go, the more people you have to serve. So when we made that transition from, you know, as a retiree, you know, well, how do we fill that gap and how do we fill that void? And can we do this in a manner that we can kind of package it up and like present that to someone else that might be in that position? You know, if there's a vet out there, and there's several of them across the social platforms, you know, veterans that are into the hobby, into the business side of things. And if there's a guy or a gal that needs that kind of support or a how-to or a helping hand, you know, if we can use our experience to benefit them, then it's more than worth it.
I know that you said that, like one of your videos, you're like, I'm in the Holiday Inn and you got a box. So do you travel a lot? Do you travel a lot?
I used to.
Oh, okay.
When I was working for doing the public awareness gig, you know, getting out and, you know, facilitating events and speaking to large audiences, I would be traveling quite a bit. But for right now, you know, I'm centered here in Greenwood, Arkansas, and I really appreciate that opportunity because it allows me to be close to my son, number one. Number two, you know, have a safe a safe space for him to come and go, when he needs to.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, soon after getting down here, like, you always worry, man, I'm going to make this big transition. I'm going to move from this place to that place. And it can be kind of scary, but I tell you what, just kind of like you guys and with the card thing, once you make that decision to act and do something, the rewards and the bounty it's exponential. You never know what's going to happen unless you just give it a shot.
Mm-hmm.
And we're grateful to come down here. So, we next time we get out on the road, we'll do that. But for right now, we're kind of just hunkered down and beating up our mailbox. Our mailbox, she either loves us or hates us. One of the two,
Right. Well, I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but anything that you want to add to end on here, or I think
I just would like to say, man, I appreciate what you guys are doing, and your content has really helped to push me to get better too, because I didn't think about it until I saw you guys talking with Soul Brother. I was like, wow, these guys, here they are, they're facing the camera, they're talking to the audience, and it drew me in right away. And so I really appreciate your guys' leadership in that direction as well, because, if you wouldn't have done what you were doing, I might not try what I'm going to do or what I'm going to do next. And it's not about, taken from you or anything. It's just about, what can we do to get better? And then
right.
That's, because we're looking like, can't say it enough, man. We're just using this as a platform for personal growth. And, man, I really appreciate you guys, number one, what you're doing. Number two, asking me to take part in it. All I can say is thank you, and I'm humbled by the opportunity.
Oh, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, we really appreciate you coming on, and we want you to come back on the show later on. You say you live down in Arkansas, and you're a Bronco fan, right?
Yeah.
So are you from that area, or you said?
Man, that's another long story.
We'll save that for next time.
Yeah, we'll save it for next time. But
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm here in Arkansas. I'm a Bronco fan, but I'm really just a fan of the whole game.
Right.
Well, we do want you to come on the show for sure, to maybe be on our Broncos Mount Rushmore.
Oh, wow.
If you've checked out our Mount Rushmore.
I've watched all of them. I dig it.
Okay.
That's a great idea. That's great content. Yeah, man, I'm in. Anytime I can give you a hand or help you out, I'm here if you need me, man.
Awesome.
And as you grow, and if you want us to come on, we'd love to help you out with whatever you're doing too.
Hey, man, I would love to do that, and I need to get technologically savvy. That's another incremental step. One of the baby steps I gotta do. So, man, don't be surprised if I hit you guys up and say, hey, man, come on over to GK's place and
awesome.
Conversation.
Yep, yeah, we'd love that.
All right, well, if you want to stick on for a second, we'll bring this interview to a close, but we'll chit chat for a few.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Man, what a great chance to get to talk to Greg, huh? It was awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome talking to him.
Yeah, another friendship forged, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was
great guy.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. I know. I think he'll be more than willing to come on and rep his Broncos.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And
that's
man.
awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun for sure. I thought so.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, I think that's gonna do it for today's episode. Spotlight interview on Greg, and I guess Skull Brothers saying we're out.
Yeah, Skull Brothers out.